Shuya Kamikubo and Troy Worthen. Both these guys are ferocious fighters, but on paper, undefeated in one championship, Shuya is the more experienced fighter. Troy, where do you see yourself as having the advantages over him? And who do you think is the favorite here?
Like I've said before, I don't think the experience is going to be an issue. I think I've had plenty of fights. I've had a bunch of amateur fights where I defended a title 4 times. And I've trained in some of the best rooms in the world. So I don't think experience is an issue. And overall, I just believe in my skill set versus anybody. You know, I'm still confident I could beat John Lineker and Yusuf Sadalayev. You know, I don't think those losses define me. I just didn't win on that night. And that's part of the game. But yeah, I just think I'm overall willing and ready to impose my game plan anywhere. I don't think it really matters where it goes. So I'm just supremely confident in the fight.
Shuya, you have a fantastic record in one championship. Where do you see yourself as the better fighter in this matchup?
まあ、正しいことを丁寧にやり続けることができる。勝つために正しい選択をすることができるところだと。
I have an ability to execute what I need to execute the things or what I need to win the fight, and I have ability to pick up the best option at the time of each time.
Troy, you mentioned that you still believe that you could beat John Lineker and Sadalayev. What did you learn from those losses, and how important is it to you to return to winning ways with this one?
I mean, it's hard to say, like, I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's hard to say I learned much. I knew going into those fights, it's possible to lose, you know, it's 50-50 chance when you go into a fist fight that you're going to come out a loser. So, you know, it just happened on those nights that they happened to perform better, or, you know, for the Yusuf fight, the judges decided he performed better. But, you know, I just need to prepare better and get better as a martial artist. It just comes down to me getting better and making sure that those things don't happen again. But, you know, having the experience of being in the cage with people of that caliber, I definitely think has helped me out.
Shuya, do you think it's fair to say that Troy has had a tougher ride than you? He's indicated before that you've faced much easier opponents. Do you think that's fair to say?
質問なんですけども、
はい。
トロイ選手の方が、上郷選手より、今まで、強い相手とやってきたと思いますか？さっき、上郷選手の方が、楽な相手と、やって、無敗をキープしてるって言ってたんですけど、そこら辺どう思いますか？
まあ、強い相手を当ててもらえなかったっていうのが正直なところかなっていうのと、まあ、彼自身がジョン・リネカーとかってやってるのは僕は羨ましいと思う。
Well, it's just that I didn't get a good opponent. I mean, not good, but a tough opponent. You know, I just have to fight whoever one gives me. So that's just a fact. And to be honest, I'm really jealous about Troy getting John Lineker. You know, I totally want to face him. So yeah, hopefully I get a better fight soon.
Troy, is there any danger that Shuya might be jealous that you fought John Lineker, but is there any danger that he overlooks you here? And if he does that, could he be in a bit of trouble?
You know, I don't think so. I think Shuya is a good martial artist, and I think that he's focused on me. And if, you know, if he were to get past me, then whatever fight comes after, I'm sure he'll focus on that. But no, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think he's 100% focused on this fight. And I trust that we're going to go out there and both try to perform to our best capabilities.
Shuya, do you study your opponent's highlight reels carefully? And what have you made of Troy's performances in one championship? Have you seen any weaknesses that you'll be trying to exploit here?
上郷選手、次の質問なんですけど、対戦相手って研究しますか？今回で言うと、トロイ選手の試合、過去の試合を見て、弱点とか、どっかありましたでしょうか？
まあ、それなりに映像を見て準備はしてきたつもりです。
Well, yeah, I've been watching Troy's fight, you know, a couple of times, and I think I decently observed him, so you'll see that in the cage.
Troy, Shuya is being quite coy there in terms of what he's maybe seen, if anything. What do you see in his game that you'll be confident of overcoming?
You know, I definitely think this is going to be a striking discrepancy, and maybe he's a better striker than we've seen, but we haven't seen much of it. So I think I'm pretty comfortable on the feet. I don't think he's quite as comfortable being in striking exchanges. He just kind of uses the striking to get into wrestling exchanges. I would say that's probably his one real weakness. He's a great grappler. He's really good at pressuring. So I don't think that's an issue for him, but I'm very comfortable in all those positions as well. So it's just going to come down to who can be more dominant at what they're trying to impose.
Shuya-san, is striking an area of weakness for you? And do you agree that Troy has the stronger striking in this matchup?
上岡さん、そこで自分自身、その打撃ではトロイ選手に劣ると思ってますか？彼の方が打撃戦になれば有利だと思いますか？
いや、全然。僕の打撃強いですよ。
Definitely don't think so. I haven't shown it yet, but my striking is pretty damn good. Sorry, I swear. Sorry, I swear.
Troy, you've been training at Sanford MMA with various one champions. You know, you got Martin Nguyen over there, Online Song. How's that experience been for you, and how's it changed you as a fighter? And who have you been working with that's been particularly helpful?
Yeah, man, there's honestly too many people in that room to name. Like, I don't want to just leave people out. But yeah, having guys like that in the room, like training with guys that have world championship belts, I know where I'm at. I know how those rounds go. And it's just validated in my mind that I'm doing what I should be doing. And, you know, it just comes down to me performing when the lights come on, you know. It doesn't matter how great you do in the training room if you don't go out there and do it under the big lights. So, you know, this is my third fight with a guy in the top 5, and third time's the charm, I'm hoping.
Given that you've got this undefeated record in one, where does a win over Troy put you? Are we talking about a ranking? Are we talking about a title shot? What do you think would be deserved if you managed to put Troy away?
上久保選手、今回そのトロイ選手に勝ちましたら、ご自身どういうポジションに、アップすると思いますか？その次はもうタイトルマッチなのか、次はランカーとの戦いになるのか、どういうところを望んでますか？
ワンが僕をどう評価するかだと思うんですけど、今までの感じだったらランカーか、また下ランカーじゃない人との試合になるんじゃない？
I'm just being realistic, but it's all about how one's gonna evaluate him. But if you it's probably gonna be a ranker or maybe even like a non-ranker. I don't know, but I don't know when I'm gonna get the title belt.
Troy, your first couple of fights in one were great finishes. Then you got a decent decision against Marco Bellator. Is it time to kind of remind everybody what you're all about and just how good you are here?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I always go out there planning to put my opponents away and put on a great performance. Hasn't quite happened every single time, but you know, if any time, I guess now, you know, I don't plan on going 0-3. I can guarantee that.
Shuya-san, Troy has an extensive wrestling background. Is that something that you're looking out for, and how do you plan to counter it?
上久保選手、次の質問なんですけど、トロイ選手も素晴らしいレスリングの、バックグラウンド持ってるんですけど、そこは注意する点ではありますか？もうちょっとはい。
彼のレスリングが強いだろうってことも、フィジカル面が強いだろうってことも、体つきを見たらわかります。
Well, just look at Troy's body, man. Like, you know, he's pumped up. It's pretty obvious that, you know, he's a great wrestler and he has a great physical skill. So, of course, I'm looking out for that.
Troy, do you see that as an area where you're going to be able to impose your will? And do you feel pumped up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very confident in my wrestling, especially in MMA. I think wrestling, as far as just collegiately or in typical competition versus wrestling and MMA are two very different things. And I honestly think I'm a better MMA wrestler than I was in like competitively in college and high school. So I think that's somewhere I'm very strong and I'm very confident. But you know, this is an MMA fight. I don't really take things apart. I think the striking, the wrestling, the grappling all has to go together. And I think I'm probably one of the best people at putting them together. So yeah, I'm very confident in that. And I don't know, maybe I just have good genetics. I don't really try to work on my body. It just looks like the way it does.
Shuya, your last knockout came in 2018, and then your last fight was a submission. What are you feeling here? Do you feel the submission coming? Do you feel the knockout, or do you see it going the distance?
上久保選手、多分上久保選手の最後の KO 勝利って2018年とかですかね。ちょっと前になると思うんですけど、で、前回の試合は、一本勝ちしてると思うんですけども、今回の試合、一本勝ちになりそうですか？それとも、久々にちょっと KO しちゃおうかなという気持ちはありますか？
KO でも1本でもどっちでもいいかなというか、最後に自分の手が上がればいいかなぐらい気持ちです。
Well, I don't mind whether it's a knockout or a submission. I just want my hand to be raised in the end. That's all.
Troy, do you have a sense for these things? Do you have a prediction on how it's going to go?
I kind of agree with him. I don't really care how, but I do see myself finishing the fight and I see myself winning. But I both think that's how it's going to go. So it just depends on who's right.
Shuya-san, the level of your opponents has been a topic that's come up today. Is Troy the toughest opponent that you've faced in one so far?
上野選手、ワンで今、無敗ですけども、今までやってきた選手と比べて、今回のトロイ選手っていうのは、あれですか、間違いなく一番強い選手になりそうですか？それとも変わらずって感じですか？
まあ、一番強いんじゃないですか。
Well, probably the strongest.
Troy, do you think it's fair to say that you're the strongest, but also are you the best opponent, the toughest test that Shuya's faced so far?
I think so. I definitely think so. But like I said, we get to find out in a few days, and that's the beautiful thing about this sport.
Shuya-san, we're at the start of the year. What's your plan for 2022? What can we expect from you?
上久保選手、2022年の初戦、2022年ですよね。2022年の初戦なんですけど、上久保選手の時、2022年、どういう年にしていきたいですか？ワンでのプランを聞かせてください。
たくさん勝ちたいです。
My plan for 2022 is I want to win a lot.
Troy, the same question for you. What's the plan this year?
I like his plan. Let's get a lot of wins, make a lot of money, and enjoy life. I honestly, for me, I just want to get better. I just want to get better as a martial artist. If that leads me to victories inside the cage, then so be it. If it leads me in a different direction, then so be it. I don't really try to control things that I can't. So I'm just focused on what I can control, and that's the effort that I put in training.
After facing those two top 5 guys, Lineker and Sadlayev, is Shuya-san the right test for you right now?
Yeah, I don't see him as a step down. I think everybody in the top 5 could beat each other on any given night. So, I'm trying to compete against the best guys in the world, and he's one of them. So he's perfect.
Shuya-san, what do you think about that comment from Troy that you're on the same level as those guys like John Lineker and Sadlayev? And how do you feel about this test from Troy? Is this the right test for you right now? Are you relishing this test?
上野選手、トロイ選手から今、ユサップ、ジョン・リネカーと同等のレベルのファイターだと言われたんですけども、上久保選手とって今回、トロイ選手とやる試合っていうのは、厳しいテストになりそうですか？
そうですね。
He just said yes.
Gentlemen, two incredible bantamweights in what is arguably the most exciting division in the world right now. We cannot wait to see you compete. A big thank you. Great to speak to you today.
Thank you.